Yomi Vigo here. Scotland took another step toward ending nearly 3 decades of World Cup exile. But you wouldn't know it from looking at Steve Clarke's face. The man looked like someone who just realised he left the gas on. And honestly, after 72 games in charge, you can't blame him. His team might be crawling closer to the promised land, but the performance against Belarus, it was a grim reminder of how thin the line is between qualification and calamity. This was supposed to be a victory laced with joy. Che Adams scores, Scott McTominay seals it, and Scotland lock in at least a playoff berth. That's a night to breathe easy, right? Not here, not under Clarke. The same manager who's taken this country to 2 European championships stood in front of cameras afterward and called it one of the most disappointing games of his tenure. His tone was ice cold.
Possibly as disappointed as I've been over the whole 72 games.
That's not a throwaway quote. That's a manager furious that his team flirted with disaster against the group's weakest opponent. Let's get this straight. Belarus are ranked 100th in the world. They were smacked for 6 by Denmark a few days ago. And yet, they walked into Hampden Park and nearly embarrassed Scotland. 22 shots, 1 disallowed equaliser, 1 last-gasp goal that had the crowd on the verge of booing their own victory. If you listen closely at full time, you could hear Freed from Desire battling to drown out the jeers. Euphoric anthem meets existential dread. A perfect soundtrack for a team somehow winning and wilting at the same time. Adams opened the scoring after 15 minutes, a VAR-approved finish that should have calmed nerves. Instead, it just kicked off 90 minutes of tension. The game devolved into something murky. Misjudged passes, late reactions, a crowd that went from expectant to exasperated. Every Belarus counter-attack felt like an alarm bell. When McTominay's late strike made it 2-0, it was more relief than celebration. His body language said it all. No smile, no roar, just that blank look of a man aware that even the win felt hollow. Minutes later, Hleb Kuchko punished Scotland's lapse in stoppage time, turning what should have been a routine victory into a nervous scramble for the whistle. And yet, somehow, this is progress. This is the maddening contradiction of Clarke's Scotland. They're not pretty, but they're productive. Not thrilling, but efficient enough to make history possible. 10 points from 12, a guaranteed playoff, a legitimate shot at topping the group if they can handle Greece and Denmark next month. You can scoff at the style, but you can't deny the results. Clarke has built a system that survives, even when it stumbles. A pragmatic fortress forged out of discipline, not flair. And while the football purists might groan, the bigger picture doesn't lie. Scotland are closer to a World Cup than they've been since 1998. There were glimpses, faint, fleeting, of what could be. Ben Gannon Doak, the teenage winger who plays like a live wire, twisting defenders into knots, but still learning the end product. He's raw chaos bottled in blue. When he finally learns to turn those bursts into precision, Scotland will have a weapon that doesn't just threaten, but destroys. McTominay's goals from midfield continue to matter, even on off nights. And behind all of it, Clarke's rigid structure keeps the ship afloat. A tactical hand that might not inspire fireworks, but keeps the nation dreaming. Still, the questions won't fade. How does a side with this much grit still look so brittle? How can a night that secures qualification feel so empty? The truth lies in expectation. This isn't the Scotland of old, the one satisfied with almost. The modern Tartan army wants more than survival. They want to believe in football that excites, not just endures. Clarke knows it. You could see it in his face, that blend of relief and rage. He's built something resilient, but fragile in spirit. A squad that wins but rarely convinces.